Nobody expected this turn of events. For a long time, many people believed Clive Davis was one of the powerful figures standing behind Diddy and quietly helping him through difficult situations. That idea spread everywhere, making it seem like their connection was stronger than anyone realized. But now, a newly leaked voicemail is raising fresh questions and painting a very different picture.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence. Nah, it ain't never going to work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice.
According to what can be heard in the recording, Diddy appeared to feel pushed aside and left without support. The message gives the impression that he believed Clive Davis had stepped away from him when things became more complicated. Diddy also seemed frustrated and hinted that he wanted to reveal more about their relationship if the opportunity ever came. Those claims have not been confirmed, but they have definitely sparked a huge wave of discussion. If that voicemail is genuine, it completely changes how many people look at this story. For months, people assumed Clive Davis might still be quietly standing by Diddy's side behind the scenes. Instead, the recording seems to suggest the exact opposite. It sounds as if Clive had created as much distance as possible, possibly to avoid being connected to the growing controversy.
So I have to ask you, what was your favorite memory working with Diddy?
You know, personally, I've got to tell you, he really is a major star in this film tonight. He's a spokesman all the way through. I met him before I ever knew of him. I met him when he was 21 years old. And when we met, you know, he played me Craig Mack Flavor in Your Ear. He played me 3 cuts from the forthcoming Notorious B.I.G. album. And we talked for hours and hours about music, and I poured into his dream. And I financed Bad Boy Records. And we had an incredible run, an incredible period.
That possibility has surprised a lot of people. The biggest shock is how unexpected this feels. Their names have been linked together for years, and many believe they shared one of the strongest relationships in the music business. Because of that history, hearing suggestions that the connection may have broken down has caught many fans completely off guard. We had an incredible run, an incredible period. Those words now sound very different when placed next to everything people are discussing today. For years, one question has continued to follow legendary music executive Clive Davis every time Diddy appeared in the headlines. Just how close were these two men when the cameras were not around? It is a question that refuses to disappear. When Jaguar Wright was asked about that very topic, she didn't hold back. She openly shared her opinions, adding even more attention to a conversation that was already growing across social media. The timing made everything even more dramatic, especially after Clive Davis was spotted arriving at a public event shortly after Diddy became the center of major public attention. That appearance immediately had people talking and wondering if there was more happening behind the scenes than anyone realized. Reporters quickly approached Clive Davis and asked him about Diddy. But instead of giving a direct response, Davis reportedly reacted in a way that left many people surprised. According to those covering the event, he appeared to act as though he wasn't sure who they were referring to.
A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy.
Status of what?
P. Diddy. Diddy.
Puffy. The status of Puffy.
What do you make of that situation?
That brief exchange immediately caught attention and sparked a flood of online discussion. His response, or what many saw as the lack of one, had people asking even more questions. Was Clive Davis genuinely confused? Was it simply an awkward moment? Or was he intentionally keeping his distance from a name that had become the focus of non-stop public conversation? Since then, people have continued to debate what really happened during that interaction, with opinions going in every direction.
I have to ask you, you mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said, who? Is that old age, or does he not, they're not in the same world? Or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts?
He's definitely been his ex.
Oh. Okay.
I would call that the same world.
Okay. Pretty intertwined.
And for him to say Diddy who is his way of saying, I'm not talking about Sean anymore.
Jaguar Wright has been one of the loudest voices sharing her perspective. She has publicly made serious claims about Clive Davis and described him as one of the most powerful figures in the music business. Those statements reflect her personal opinions and allegations, and they have generated plenty of debate across interviews, podcasts, and social media. Jaguar Wright also claimed that Diddy was not the only person she believed wanted to speak publicly about Clive Davis. According to Wright, singer Angie Stone was also preparing to share her own perspective. These claims have not been independently confirmed, but they have become part of the wider conversation surrounding the industry and its most influential names. Angie Stone later passed away following a car crash, an event that shocked fans and the music world alike. Because of the timing, some online commentators began connecting unrelated events and raising questions. However, no official findings have concluded that the incident was anything other than what investigators reported.
So no one tells P. Diddy what to do. Like,
Absolutely.
who tells him what to do?
Clive Davis in the beginning. No, he didn't empower him. That could put his on a block. He gave him power. And all he had to do was diddle-dee-dee and diddle-dee-dum.
Even so, the discussion continued to spread as more people shared their own theories and opinions. Drawing from her own experiences in the music business and what she says she learned over many years, Jaguar Wright argued that certain details deserve closer attention. She also questioned reports mentioning non-disclosure agreements, commonly known as NDAs, asking why those agreements were being discussed if everything was as straightforward as it appeared. Those comments fueled even more public curiosity and kept the conversation going. Many people online suggested that Angie Stone had been getting ready to speak out about several well-known figures in the music business. Jaguar Wright, however, tells a different story. According to her, Angie's original focus was not on exposing anyone. Instead, Jaguar claimed Angie believed she had uncovered serious financial problems involving money she felt she had earned but never properly received. That, according to Jaguar, was where everything began.
Like, he wasn't gonna tell Gene and them that's how he was getting the money. Let's be real about that. You think he was going to admit to these who he went to school with, who essentially he asked to come to make his G official?
Jaguar said Angie wanted answers and wanted to recover what she believed belonged to her. She also claimed that Angie was prepared to discuss her experiences publicly if those concerns were not addressed. According to Jaguar, those conversations could have included claims involving Clive Davis. These statements reflect Jaguar Wright's personal allegations and have not been independently confirmed, but they have continued to attract attention from people following the story. As more names became connected to the discussion, many people started noticing a pattern. Even though there is no verified evidence proving those events were connected, some individuals faced legal challenges while others were no longer around to share their side of the story. Those circumstances have led to non-stop speculation, with countless theories spreading across social media and entertainment channels. Even today, people continue debating whether those connections are meaningful or simply coincidences. Now, with so many rumors circulating, some people have even asked whether Diddy could have disappeared from public view to avoid everything that was unfolding. There is no credible evidence supporting that idea, and it remains nothing more than online speculation.
Like you heard him say, Christopher Williams, street nigga, gangster nigga, Pete Rock, I'll be short. They from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Gene Deal. Like, ain't nobody looking at how Puff positioned himself. There was a wall of protection and talent and brilliance around him.
Based on publicly available information, there is no verified reason to believe that scenario is true. Still, the wave of rumors shows just how much curiosity surrounds this story. Amaya also brought up several other well-known names during the discussion, saying their experiences with Clive Davis raised additional questions. According to her, the stories linked to Clive Davis did not begin with today's headlines. She argued that these conversations stretch back decades and involve several major figures from the music industry. While many of those accounts remain disputed or unverified, they have kept public interest growing and encouraged people to take another look at the history behind one of the industry's most influential executives. T-Boz in particular shared a story that immediately grabbed people's attention. Looking back at TLC's hugely successful album, Crazy Sexy Cool, she claimed the project generated around $75 million.
Nobody had to look at him for real. And the truth is nobody did. Everybody laughed and joked about him dancing like a idiot in all them god videos. Twirling around in circles and this been wild, so I'm just saying.
Even more surprising, she said that each member of the group reportedly received only about $50,000. Those figures have been widely discussed over the years and continue to spark conversations about how artists are compensated in the music business. Although T-Boz spoke with plenty of humor and personality, many listeners felt there was real frustration behind her words. Her story highlighted concerns that some performers have raised for years about contracts, payments, and the balance of power between artists and major companies. It also reminded people that commercial success does not always mean everyone involved feels they were treated fairly. Jaguar Wright said she completely understood those feelings because she believes she experienced something very similar herself.
They didn't know. And he wasn't telling them. They just know he got the budget. He go to LA, he talk to Clive, he come back with the bread. Apparently, he has this man's confidence. Yeah, I'm sure that man was very confident with his in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Clive is a whole freak.
According to Jaguar, she confronted an executive at MCA over money she believed she had earned but never properly received. She described situations where, in her opinion, artists sometimes felt they had to push much harder than expected just to have their concerns heard. Those claims reflect Jaguar's own account and remain her personal perspective. Jaguar also pointed to an interview featuring legendary singer Phyllis Hyman. She noted that the conversation took place not long before Phyllis passed away, a detail that has led many fans to revisit the interview and examine her comments more closely. Over time, that interview has become part of larger discussions about the pressures and challenges some artists have described within the industry. According to Jaguar, Phyllis Hyman experienced several difficult situations involving Clive Davis over the years. Jaguar claimed those moments often placed Clive in a stronger position during important business matters. These are allegations and opinions that have not been independently verified, but they continue to be discussed by people following the story. Jaguar also claimed that unresolved financial issues remain part of Phyllis Hyman's story. While those claims have circulated for years, many details remain disputed or unconfirmed. Even so, they continue to generate debate whenever conversations about the music industry's history return to the spotlight. This is one reason why the idea of Diddy speaking publicly about Clive Davis has attracted so much attention. To many people watching from the outside, it would represent a dramatic shift in a relationship that had long been viewed as close.
When 50 Cent...
Don't nobody want to talk about why R. Kelly's bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway, why his tour bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway at the house where the went down between Chris and Rihanna. Don't nobody want to talk about why it was filled with video girls who were being
Jaguar has repeatedly argued that Diddy did not create his own approach on his own. Instead, she believes he learned from influential figures who came before him. In her opinion, many of the practices people now debate had already existed within parts of the music business for decades, long before today's headlines brought them back into public conversation. If Jaguar Wright's claims are accurate, then the conversation becomes much bigger than just one or two famous names. It starts raising questions about how the music industry has operated for generations and whether certain powerful executives built networks that were almost impossible to challenge. Those are serious allegations, and while many remain unverified, they continue to keep people talking. For years, fans have wondered why so many artists eventually spoke about unfair deals, missing payments, or feeling powerless despite selling millions of records. Every time another interview resurfaced, another piece of the puzzle seemed to appear. Some people believe those stories point to a larger pattern, while others argue they are unrelated experiences that have been grouped together over time. Either way, the debate has never really disappeared.
Oh, trying to blow the whistle on her.
No, she wasn't
revenue.
trying to. She found out they robbed her blind. She wanted her money back and she was ready to explode
exposed Queen Davis.
Correct. Tyler Perry spoke up for her.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
That's not what I would call that. That sound more like to me, where's my cut?
Ooh.
One thing is certain, Clive Davis has remained one of the most influential figures in music history. His career includes working with countless legendary performers and helping launch some of the biggest names in the business. Because of that enormous influence, almost any claim connected to his name immediately attracts worldwide attention and intense public discussion. That is also why every old interview is now being watched again with fresh eyes. Fans have started revisiting podcasts, television appearances, and archived conversations, searching for comments they may have overlooked years ago. Some believe those clips reveal hidden meaning, while others say people are simply interpreting the past through today's headlines. Regardless of which view is correct, interest continues to grow.
That's what that sound like to me. Because Monique was very right about one thing. You don't get to be outraged over Angie when you did the same thing to her. And still doing it lightweight. You don't get to be outraged over Angie after what you done to Monique.
Meanwhile, social media has only added more momentum to the conversation. Every newly shared clip, every resurfaced interview, and every opinion from former artists quickly spreads across the internet. Within hours, thousands of people begin comparing stories, looking for similarities and asking whether there are connections that have never been fully explained. Not everyone reaches the same conclusion, but the public curiosity is impossible to ignore. The biggest question now is what other information could still come to light. If more people decide to share their own experiences, the conversation could expand even further. On the other hand, it's equally possible that many of these claims will remain matters of public debate rather than established fact. Until additional verified information becomes available, much of the discussion will continue to center on allegations, personal accounts, and differing interpretations of events that have fascinated the public for years. One of Jaguar Wright's most talked about claims involves Whitney Houston. According to Jaguar, Whitney had begun questioning her finances after believing that significant amounts of money connected to her career were unaccounted for. Jaguar alleged that Whitney was considering leaving Clive Davis's record label because she felt she had not received everything she believed she had earned. These claims have not been independently verified, but they continue to be widely discussed whenever this subject comes up. Jaguar also made claims involving Bobby Christina and Nick Gordon. According to Jaguar, Nick Gordon allegedly met with Clive Davis before later events unfolded, and she suggested that meeting was connected to a larger story.
So you mean to tell me Clive Davis has passed away at the age of 94? I woke up shocked this morning because this man has single-handedly outlived majority of the artists he was connected to. And listen, I know that there are some people who are probably in his family or X, Y, and Z that are very, very sad. But what I am saying is I need a documentary. I need a documentary.
However, Jaguar did not present evidence supporting that allegation, and it remains an unverified claim. Even so, those comments have fueled ongoing debate among people following these stories. The discussion became even more intense when Bobby Brown's sister publicly shared her own account of events. Her statements added another perspective to an already emotional and widely debated situation. As with many stories surrounding high-profile figures, different people have offered different versions of what they believe happened, leaving many questions unanswered. Conversations about artists' finances are not limited to just one performer. Years earlier, members of TLC publicly spoke about being disappointed with the money they received despite the group's enormous commercial success.
Of the artists that he was connected to that seemingly had a weird passing that happened. You know, a lot of people don't like Clive Davis for the mere fact of when Whitney Houston passed away, he continued with his pre-Grammy party, saying the show must go on, and they hadn't even removed Whitney Houston's body.
Their experiences helped bring attention to broader discussions about recording contracts, royalties, and the challenges some artists have described while trying to receive what they believe they had earned. Those conversations continue today. Over the years, fans have also pointed to long-running rumors involving Biggie Smalls and whether he was considering major career changes.
body from upstairs. There are some people who don't like him because of what happened to Janis Joplin, Phyllis Hyman, all these artists that we've heard out throughout history. And I'll say this, okay? When they came for Diddy, a lot of us, including myself, was like, when is Clive going to be next? When is he going to be next? And Clive has escaped somehow. He escaped somehow.
Those rumors have never been confirmed, but they remain part of the broader speculation that often surrounds some of the biggest names in music history. As more old interviews and reports resurface, people continue comparing stories and looking for possible connections, even when clear evidence is unavailable. In the end, many of the biggest questions remain exactly that. Questions. There are verified facts, there are personal accounts, and there are unverified allegations that continue to circulate online. Distinguishing between those categories is important, especially with stories that have attracted so much public attention over the years. As more information becomes available, people will no doubt continue examining the history of the music industry from every angle.
Now, y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I grew up on the side of YouTube, okay, that talks about it all. And I'll say this, if they were right about Diddy, allegedly, you know, he is in prison right now, allegedly, then what else could they have been right about? I need a documentary. 50 Cent, get on that.
What do you think about everything you've heard? Do you believe these stories point to something bigger, or do you think many of these events have been connected through speculation over time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves music history and industry deep dives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.